Hello everybody and welcome back to another video for Hartfield Railway. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing some kit bashing, and as you can see the camera is currently looking at the school on the layout. So this, everybody, is the Lilybank Infant School. It's a Superquick kit, or it was actually two kits put together. The original school was on an original layout, and unfortunately some people broke into that original layout when I was much younger and destroyed the original. So I, when I was probably about 15, decided I was going to try and do my first kit bash, and well, as you can see from some of the quality of the work, it was alright at the time, but it wouldn't really meet up to what I can do today. As you can see, that's a little bit wonky and it's a little bit naff, really. And if we go towards the back, there's quite a bit of room behind the school there. So my objective today is quite simple. I am going to take this old kit along with a brand new kit which I got for Christmas of the same design. Ta-da! And I'm going to do something with this school, make it with a little bit of an area as well, maybe a playground behind it, and see what I can do kit bashing in modern day. So I've got a lot of work to do, so let's get over to the workbench and begin this new project. Welcome to the workbench, which is a little bit messy. Ignore all the mess and stuff back here. So as you can see, it wasn't exactly the bestly made kit at all, still. When I was 15, this was alright, it was acceptable, and me just kind of throwing this together on just a old layout. But I think it needs a little bit of revitalisation, making it a little bit better than it is today. So my cousin was kind enough to buy me another Superquick set of the same set. So I'm not sure how exactly I'm going to do this or what I actually want from this. I know I can't make it much wider. I might be able to extend it back a little bit, maybe do something in the middle here. I will be changing the actual how it sits on the railway back there by putting a playground in and stuff like that. So I can do stuff like that. I can probably extend that way. So I'm probably going to bring this building round to make it like a double one by cutting this side off and then putting this somewhere towards the back. So I'm going to be extending the school. I'm using bits from this and bits from that to see what I can do. It's going to be a bit of an experiment, I'm not going to lie. So let's see what I can make of it. I mean, even some of these windows are falling out, so they're going to be replacing. I'm going to try and save as much of the original kit as I can. I will be taking off these walls and the playground area and this little yard area and improving that up a little bit, because I can do better on the actual board itself. So let's get this school kind of kitted first, and then we'll move on to actually installing it on the actual layout. So what I've done is I've taken that side off and I've just put one of these, I put these two together. I'm trying to use as much of the original kit as I possibly can. So those are going to go together. I'm going to make another section which is exactly the same as one of these like front sections here. So one of these, put it on the back of here so it goes backwards. I'm probably going to be using this old section which I've cut off on the back here. So this extends backwards as well, because obviously this school comes in two sections. And obviously there's a few little scruffs and little bit unneat patches from the years of it being moved from house to house and layout to layout, which I'm going to neaten up and sort out. I'm going to cut away the front schoolyard as well, this little courtyard area, and try and save as many of these little gates as possible to make a proper gate and a proper area. And then when I get it on the layout, we'll be modifying the actual area around the layout to do that as well. So it's just a matter of playing around with it and seeing what we can come up with. Right, so I'm going to crack on, speed the video up, and we'll see what we can come up with. Right, so I've just quickly put the glazing in the new section, which is going to go behind this section. Some of you are probably wondering why I didn't put the new section on the front of the building. Really simple answer, really, to be fair. This is the original kit, and I want to show as much original character as I possibly can. Because it's older, it's a little bit more grimier and dirtier and dustier. Makes sense for that to be at the front, so it's an old building, and where this is the new stuff can go at the back, where you won't see it as much. This shows its original character. Also, the building's meant to be quite old, so it just gives it an impression of being an older building. So that's going to go on the back here. I've also got the other bits to do. This little bit I've attached back here. I'm probably going to put a bit more, when I do this bit, put a bit more on the side here, and then we'll work on the playground. And I'm going to cut this out in a minute and get that done just once all that's dried. So let's crack on. Slight change of plan. So I've just quickly measured this up on the actual layout over there, and I can do, and I think it would look better to have 3 of these in a line, because that would meet the end of the, that would be where the end of the path is, and that would just about line up nicely with the edge of the board. So we could have 3 like classrooms, and I can do the little bits out the back there. I think that would look a lot better. And also, since this doesn't have actually like a full wall on this side here, so that's where the side section here is meant to come out, that would look a lot better. And I think putting that in here like that and extending it on would make it look really nice. Then obviously neatening it up. So yeah, this front bit will actually be on the front now, so scrap what I said earlier. So I'm going to attach that on, get it in, get the roof on. The dormer windows are all facing that way, but oh well, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. And then we'll be working on the back section. I put another one of these little sections on the back. And then we'll work on getting this on the board, doing maybe like a little frontage. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a tiny frontage, just like right up to the path, maybe a few flowers and stuff, and then quite a large playground at the back. And then I can use some extra bits that I've got just to make some nice bits. So let's crack on, let's get that installed, get the roof on, get this kit looking like some sort of relatively decent sized primary school. Right, I'm going to crack on and see what I can do. We've done that, that's attached. The roof's going on at last thing. So this is the back piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this around. And what I'm going to do is this door piece is going to sit somewhere in here like this, just to make the gap up, something like that. I'm not quite 100% sure how I'm going to do this just as of yet, but that does have a roofing on it, so I'm going to try and get like a roof on it. Oh yeah, and my cousin decided he was going to make me a cup of tea. How ironic of what name's on it. Typical, isn't it? Oh well, at least I've got tea. That's not a bad cup of tea at all, is that? So my idea is, behind this here, is to stick this probably like here or something as a side door or a side building, maybe like a kid's cloakroom, or to match the other side but have it facing the same direction of the roof. That's why I'm putting the roofs on last. My other option, which I thought would have been good, was to stick it kind of like here to extend, but then it didn't really match up. I mean, I could stick it there, but I thought this would be better because it makes it kind of like a U shape, you know, where then I could put the playground in the middle and extend it back here. So this is going to go on the side of here. I'm going to rework, obviously, these walls, because that would be where it would have originally stuck to the side of the building. So it would have stuck something like that on the original kit, but I'm sticking it behind here. I'm going to try and keep the dormer windows all facing the same way as well. So let's put the floor in and see what I can do. So that's the general idea I'm going for, the U-shape. I know that there's still mess in certain parts of the building. That's fine, don't worry, it's going to be covered up with details, like there's something that needs sorting here, I need to sort this out. It doesn't quite line up properly. It's not a problem, it's all a matter of just sorting it out with card. I do like the idea of the U-shape and the playground in the middle. Obviously I'm going to attach the roofs on in a minute. I'm going to sort out this area, and there's going to be a chimney here, I think. There's a little gap for a chimney that I'm going to try and get in. So it should be good. My next stage is to obviously get the building finished. And when I've got the building finished, and I've got it all together, essentially, what I'm then going to do is, before I patch up any areas and stuff like that, I'm going to actually get it on the board and get the board area sorted out. So I'm bringing down one of the base boards where the school's going to sit, getting it into position so I can measure up what I need to do, where I need to put stuff, where I need to put gates and stuff, and blah 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 blah. Get it all working. So my next task is to get these roofs on, get these dormer windows sorted out up here, Probably do a bit of neatening up on the front, just of basic stuff like the edging and stuff like that. Get that kind of going. Because to get this sorted here, I'm gonna have to do something about this. Can get that sorted maybe somehow. I'm not quite sure how, but I'll give it a good shot. So I'll be back in a moment. Not going to record all of this, so else you're just going to be watching me work all day long, and that's a bit boring. So I'll be back when I've got the roofs on and the kit is ready to go on the board. So you'll see this in a moment when it's on the board, and the board's going to be down here to work on. Right, well, welcome back. I've not yet got it on the board, but I have finished some detailing. I'm just going to quickly show you what I've done. So I've put these bilge boards on the front here. Now, there actually wasn't one for this here, so I've had to make this. It's kind of more or less the same yellow. It's made out of a bit of extra card and extra paper. I've also put some ridge boards up on here, on the actual thing, on the actual roof, sorry. So those are actually Metcalf ones, because they have suit it better. There's a chimney back here. I'm not sure if you can see that, so I'm going to turn the school around gently, because parts of it are still drying. So at the back here, you can see I put the chimney in. I've got the little roof here above the door, which I've just, like an idiot, knocked off. A little roof above the door. Bilge boards on that. Back here, you're not really going to see much of this, but I am going to print it up when I get it on the board. So yeah, that is the school building finished. So I'm going to go make myself another cup of tea. Another good cup of tea. Wait for this to dry before I get it on the board. And then when it's on the board, we'll be doing the playground area and making it actually fit in with everything. So, let's go have a cup of tea. Be a second for you, be like 5 minutes for me. And then I'll be back in a moment. Right guys, so this is the area that I got to work with. This is going to be a lot of fun. So, the school, as you can see, all this old paving is where the school outline used to be. If I just gently take the school away, you can see where the old school used to sit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this school to about here like this. Maybe push this back just a little bit more so that lines up with the paving there, so I don't have to take this paving away. This is the market stall, that's going to sit just behind here. And my idea is to run a wall that comes down here and comes out where the market stall is, just as a bit of paving between there. Then have turned this area, if I just gently move the camera, turn this area into like, it's going to be like an L-shaped kind of playground area. So I'll be taking these tiles up. That will be a door to the outside of the school, and the wall's going to come down here, out to here where this curb is, and around here. Maybe put a bit of grass back here or something like that. I was thinking about maybe making like a little bit like a sand pit or something for the children to play in. And at the front of the school, which you can't see at the minute off the camera, I'm going to be putting in one of the gates. I figured out putting a gate in probably here at the end of this road. So it'll be a wall and then it'll be one of the gates so the children can come in at the back of the school. It provides access to the back of the school as well. And I have one at the front of the school as well. So, this is the fun part. This is where I get to take all these horrible little tiles up again. Yay! And work with what I've got. I'm probably going to tile the front of the school this way. This grey, I might need to repaint some of this. But like I said, I'm going to be grassing most of this, probably up to about here. Leaving this bit here, that bit onwards grey. Making some grass here for the children to play on. Then maybe probably try to get some football nets or something down the line, I don't know yet. Winging it is what I'm doing right now. I am winging it. So, let me crack on. I'll speed the video up and we'll see what we can do. paving, just like this. So this will sit like that. That will go underneath the school out of the way. So we've got a bit of a paved area. I'm going to put a little bit of paint down here, and then put the wall in. So I need to find a paintbrush. So I've got a little paintbrush which I'm just going to neaten this up quickly with the same grey paint as the road. Undo this paint can. This paint can hasn't been opened since we did the roads, so. Ooh, needs a good mix. The right colour. That's the wrong colour paint tub. That's no good. I need the other paint can. That's the brown. I need the grey. Where did I put the little grey paint tub? That's a good question, isn't it? It is around somewhere. So, I'm going to find the grey paint. It's somewhere in this room. And then I will paint this the grey that needs to be painted. Put the wall in, and then we'll start on the actual grass area. Well, I'm going to paint down here the grey as well, because that needs touching up as well. So I'll crack on with that. 1 second, I will find the paint. Found it! Typical. It was actually hidden away in a drawer. So, let's get this paint tub open and let's get on with a little bit of painting. So this paint has not been opened, like I said, since we actually painted the roads. So I've not had to touch up any of the roads, but what I might do is go around touching this up and oh yeah, that needs a remix, does that? Wow. Wow. Needs a right mix up, does that? That's an old paintbrush that I'm never going to use anymore, so I'm just quickly mix this round. Whoa, that stinks. Wow. Wow. Yeah, that is one stinky paint. Really, really smelly. I'm just going to wipe this brush off with bubble wrap, because I've got bubble wrap. Right, so like I said, I'm going to touch up down here and I'm going to touch up down here as well. So we'll just quickly do that so that it looks okay. I mean, this is going to be the same colour as the road. It will dry the same colour, so don't worry. I mean, it just covers up the fact that we've taken the paving slabs out. Quickly get this done. It doesn't really matter. It's going to blend in anyway, so it'll look good when it's done. I mean, this is just a grey paint from Wilco. If you watch the road tutorials that I did, like, must be at least 2 years ago now, you know it's exactly the same one that I'm using, and it won't look as dusty. It'll just like someone's had some roadworks down here. We'll quickly do the edges here. This is where the playground is going to be, so might as well just touch this up. Obviously, when I did the roads at the time, I wasn't sure what I was doing back here, so I didn't do anything back here paint wise or anything like that. But now that I know that what I am doing, I can get this on. Just touch up some of these little white spots. I know there's going to be some grass here and stuff, but there we go. Not too shabby. Looking alright. Right, I'm just going to quickly wash out my brush and let this dry. Once the paint has dried, we're putting the walls into place. So while the paint at the back here is drying, I'm just going to position the school in a correct position like this. We're going to work on the front of the school here. So what I'm going to do is, I believe I've still got, yes I have, I've got some hedgerow left. Let's put a bit of a hedgerow in the front of it. I've got a few more sections of hedgerow knocking around, just to put like a bit of a green on the front of the school and hide all the other bits which are dirty. I'm also going to put like a small gate here. I'm going to pave up to here, down here. I'm not sure where you can see. I'm going to pave that, and I'm going to put a small yard in here. Not very big, just probably a gate and a little wall, just as a little bit of an entranceway into the school. And get this all down very nicely. So what I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to look for the other little bit of hedgerow which has eluded me, because hedgerow loves to elude me. It does this thing where it just poof and off it goes. So I'm going to get the hedgerow in. I thought that looks quite nice, giving it a little bit of a frontage to the school, just something a little bit different, something a little bit better than just brick on brick. Breaks it up a little bit more. Get that in, get that bit paved, get the archway and the front gate in, and then we'll go around the back. And by the time I've done all this, the back of the school should have dried. So let me find the missing bit of hedgerow which is meant to fit there, and we'll crack on. There we go, I found a little bit of hedgerow. It had fallen off and it decided to go for a bit of a walk. So, right, first of all I'm going to make sure this board is level. It's no good it being unlevel. I'm going to get this hedgerow in, it'll make a nice boundary to the school. I'm going to put in my forward little yard and my paving slabs, and we will crack on and get the gates in. So, I'm going to speed up the video again. I know, lots of speeding up parts, and get this installed. The front done, well, kind of done. I've yet to do the gates here. I'm going to do that very shortly. I'm thinking about putting just a little wall in that comes out a little bit here, just as like a path in. Maybe put the gate here or something, or at the front here, not sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the old gates that we had from the original kit, which are these. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify it to sit just here. So I'm going to move the board out of the way and modify the walls and get them in. So I'm not too sure how well you can see that on the camera. Let me try and zoom in a little bit for you. So I've used the old front just to make the archway and the gates, and that's going to sit there. Obviously now we also have the hedgerow as well going down the school like so, which is quite nice. So the children can come in here, although I think the children would use more of the back entrance around the back of the school. But it looks nice, it finishes it off quite nicely. Probably go a little more detailing in here and there, but it looks alright for now. So I do believe the paint in the back has dried. So now the front's finished, and I'm quite happy with the front. I like the fact that there's nothing really at the front, it's all at the back of the school, because the children are better at the back of the school. I will turn the board around and we'll get on with doing the playground. Oh, and for those that don't realise, I used to be a teacher before I joined the railway, so doing this is kind of my thing. Building a school is kind of what I'm used to. Used to working with children, so always nice. Right, let's turn the board around, get on with the back. So I've just briefly moved the school out of the way for now. So what I'm going to do is there'll be a wall running down here and here, around the very back of the baseboard here, and down this edge here. Now the paint is not 100% fully dry, but that's not a problem, because what I'm going to do is I'm doing the static grass on back here. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate this down here like that, have this bit as like a bit of a paved, we've got a paved area for the children to play on and sit on and, you know, whatever. This bit can be like a games area, you know, where they play like football or they play tennis or whatever they want to play. And then we've got the grass area where they can, you know, play on the grass. So my first duty is to get some glue down, and then we're going to be using the static grass on this. So it's just a lot better. So let me just grab my static grass applicator. There it is. And a mixture of different grasses, and we will crack on with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is literally I'm going to put a load of glue down. It's best to get the grass done before you get the walls done, or else the grass just gets everywhere, and then when the grass is dry you've got more room to play with basically. Right, I'm just going to spread this out. I like to use it quite nice and thick when doing static grass. It just allows it to bond quicker, and this glue does dry pretty quickly. It gives it a nice surface to stick to, especially when you're putting a lot of grass down. This is going to be quite a grassy area, because obviously it's the kids' field to play on, so I'm going to need some good static grass. Oh yeah, yeah I am. So, where are my static grass tubs? There we are, there's one of them. Bonk. Got a little bag of, in different shades of grass. Because obviously grass is not always just one colour. Right, I need to find the other static grass, which is like a yellowy grass, so I can blend them all together. So bear with me a second. Right, well, I found my static grass, so I'll be using like a yellowy, I've got a light green, and I've got a darker green. I'm going to mix them all up and get they all up and running. The dark green is going to be my main colour. Obviously it's like a turf, but a mixture of different colours is good when you're using static grass, because unless you're at the Chelsea Flower Show or something like that, or you're at a golf course, the grass is never going to be all the same colour. I've got some different coloured green now as well, I could probably add in later if I need any more. So into the applicator it goes. Give it a shake around so it mixes it up. There we go. And now we can start to apply the static grass. I have got the static grass thingy just under the board here. looking alright so far. Quite a little grassy field for them to play on, so yeah, it's coming along nicely, this, isn't it? There we go. There we go, they've got a little bit of grass to play on now. So my next task is I am going to wait for this glue and the static grass just to dry before I put the walls in. So I don't want to ruin the grass. Now the grass looks pretty nice on there, it's a nice blend of different colours. It's got quite a nice surface to it. So I'm going to wait for that to dry, then I'm going to put the walls in. And once the walls are in and I put the gate in, the school is pretty much nearly finished, apart from a few finishing touches here and there. So it's not doing too bad at all. So I'm going to go for another cup of tea again and let this grass dry. So in this little area behind like this little building, I'm thinking of putting a small sand pit. So I've got an idea of how I want to do this. So over here I have the fine turf, the yellow grass from Woodland Scenics, which looks a little bit like sand. And what I've done is I've just cut some of the ridge boards that you find in Metcalf kits that I'm intending to use as like a little barrier, a bit like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a load of glue down here, put some of the scatter down to give it like a sandy effect, and then I'm going to put the boards around the edge to make a little bit of a boundary for the sand pit. Because I thought, you know, it'd be nice for the kids to have like a sand pit or something. So let's get some glue down. Let's just move the school just gently out the way for now while we do this. So if I get some of this down, I'm doing it quite thick, and there's a reason I'm doing it thick. It's because when I'm doing scatters, I like to do it thick so that the scatters stick and it soaks its way through the scatters. So I'm just going to quickly make a quick mark. Quickly make sure I go all the way up to the edge. Yeah, I'm all the way up to the edge there, so that's fine. That's fine. So if I take my scatters, my little sandy scatter, I'm literally just going to scatter this on like this, like sand. Laying it on actually quite thick. I want to give it a little bit of texture, so it will soak down into the actual glue. So I don't need to worry about that. And now my idea is to just use these ridge boards that I've cut out, which are the same ridge boards I used on the roof of the school, to literally just push up and make a little boundary for the sandpit. A little fiddly here and there, but it should be alright for now. The idea is that the kids can then play in the sand when they want to play in the sand. I mean, I don't know how historically accurate sandpits were in the 1930s and 40s, so if you lived in that era, please do tell me. But I thought it'd be a nice addition. Somewhere for the kids to play. Yeah, it's not too bad. Just spread out this scatter a little bit right up to the edge. Like I said, it should soak through, should the glue. And if not, I can always use a little bit of scenic cement on it later. And then when I put the school back into its position, I've actually made those boundaries a little bit too long, unfortunately. Oops, a daisy. So I'm just going to quickly cut the edge off. Only by a couple of mil. It's not really going to affect how it looks mean, you're not really going to be seeing most of this at the back of it anyway, but it's the fine little details that when someone looks closely they can find it. So I might find some little figures of some children, some little 00 scale figures of children playing in the sand, and put them in here. So now that's in place. Just going to use my knife just to move that around. I don't think that looks too bad really. There is going to be a wall here, so it's not going to be too bad. So if I put my skull back in place, it should fit in nicely behind the sandpit. There we go. There we go. And they've got like a little sandpit now that the children can now play in. When they're playing outside, they've got a little sandpit, which I think is quite cute. I think it's quite cool. It makes it a different bit of colour. It's quite interesting. And it gives a... Well, it is an infant school, so it makes sense for them to have some sort of sand pit. So, there you go. They can build some sand castles and some sand sculptures. Right. Static graph is still drying, so while all this is drying, I will take a short break and back in a moment to do the finishing touches and the walls. Right, welcome back. So, welcome back. Now we're going to have to tackle the problem that is the walls. So, I've got to be quite creative here, because I've got to think that when you're looking at the railway, that's the front of the railway is that way, and you'll be looking in from this way, or you'll be looking in from that way. So the back of the wall, I need to think, am I going to be able... I don't need this side. I don't need this side. It's going to be facing the backboard. I don't need that anyway. So what I can use for this is I'm thinking of using the fences along the back here, as well as the one from the detail sheet, to do the back of the school, because I don't need that to have a back thing on it. Whereas the old walls I've got here, and the wall that I've got on the new section as well, which is this bit, I can use for the rest of it. We're going to have a play. We're going to have a play. The golden rule today is we're experimenting. So I'm going to start by cutting out the fence, because I think the fence at the very back near the grass would make sense. I could put that along here like this. You can't really see that from where you are right now, but it'll go along like that. Yeah, that's about right. So if I cut that bit of wall off of here that I don't need, I'm going to attach this fence to the edge of the baseboard. So I'm going to make sure I put plenty of glue down to attach this on. Right, so my idea is that this old corner fence bit, which is not really that important, can go on the very corner of the board here. And this fence should then, with a little bit of rock, there we go, reach all the way up to where the market stall and the wall is going to start. Now luckily for me, we don't need the back of it doing, because it's going to be facing the backboard, so there's no point having detail that's going to be facing a backboard. Because what would honestly be the point in that? It'd be a bit redundant. Like, yeah, great detail, shame it's facing the wrong way. Just seeing which way I can put this up. If I put it that way, it matches the old one then that goes around the corner, so that it's nice and matching. So here's the old one just to prop it up. That should be alright there. It's not a big problem. The old one we've been on a corner section like it is, actually makes a nice little prop for it to hold it up. That's good enough for me. Right, so this is the fun part. Hey, stop falling over. This is the fun part, getting the little bit of wall in here. So I'm going to chop this down so it fixes here. and I'm going to detail it up a little bit more so that it works. So this fence needs to stop falling over, it's annoying me already. As you can see, there's gaps in this. There's gaps in this from where it was meant to bend like that. So when I attach it down, I'm going to be putting some bushes and stuff to hide it, just around the edge, just to hide where the gaps are. And as you can see, I'm not sure how well the camera can pick that up from this angle, it does fit rather nicely, and it does have the gate where I want the gate to be. Fence is annoying me. If I lay that down flat, I can make a quick mark at where I want the wall to go, which is just directly after the sign, which is pretty decent. So I'm going to cut off the end of this. Place some glue down to attach it to. There we go. And get this wall in place. All should meet up rather nicely. There we go, pretty decent. And there's going to be some, they're going to put a bush or a tree or something here, I think, just to hide the fact that it's cardboard. I'll probably put a tree in front of it. A tree might be nice there, actually, thinking about it. Right, so we have got some more wall and stuff here. We have got more fence there. So what I'm thinking of doing is running the fence down the side of the sand pit. And I say I'm thinking that, I'm not sure if it's going to work or not, so so this is the new bit of wall. So we can get that new bit of wall without the gate in there, which would work and fit just about right. It would just about right fit there, wouldn't it? So if we just cut this out, I know you can't see that I'm cutting down here, but well, I am, believe me. We've also got to think that you're not going to be able to see at the very back of the school, so we're going to have a little bit of creativity here. So we do that. So now we can put it like that, which I think would work because the building's going to hide some of this anyway. I am going to use a little bit of this stone, of the stonework, just to cover up that. In fact, no, actually I don't think I will. I think I'll leave that stone, that bit blank there, and I'll do a little bit of scenery, like some bushes or something, because bushes are good. Greenery is good. Save the planet. Right, so we just get this glue in place. I'll glue my wall together, that might be a good idea, mightn't it? Push that down. And this will sit just here. Right up to the edge. And literally right on the paving stone as well. Which means that this will all hold together rather nicely. Or at least that's the plan. But when do plans on Art Feely Rarely ever go to plan? When do they ever work? The answer to that is not often. This, for example, it keeps falling over. No falling over. Put something there to secure it. Keep it straight. Hey, 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 hey. Could do with something on the other side to keep it straight. Excuse me. So that'll keep it nice and straight, hopefully. Keep it at least upright while the glue sets. That's good enough for me. Right, so my next task is to do this side here. How am I going to do this? So I've got a little bit of leftover wall, which is good. I've got a little bit of leftover wall. Yippee! I've got a fence which more or less reaches the sandpit, and the wall that more or less reaches the side. And I've got a little bit of wall here I can salvage. So this is going to be in several little sections. Now, there is actually going to be some houses here. So there's going to be like some terraced houses here. So this isn't as important to try and hide. Which is good. It means that it's not, you know, it's not going to be seen as much, but still, we're going to try our best. So let's continue with the fence. So here's the fence. Put the fence in first. Down here. And that will be more or less touching the sandpit once we get this in. Just need to make a little alteration to this little bit of fence. It's folding in on itself and that's not good. So we'll just cut that out like that. There we go. Like I said, you're not really going to be able to see this very often. There'll be stuff in the way, so there we are. But we're giving them a boundary, so there we go. We'll attach that fence to there. That's not too bad. That's not too shabby at all, I don't think. It's a little bit crooky, but we can just say it's an old fence, can't we? Say it's an old fence. Once it's all up, it'll be fine. And then I've got a little bit of wall here that I can attach to just attach it here. I'm going to cut off this tiny section of wall here. And then we're going to build that up as well. So that it all fits together lovely jubbly. And once again, run some glue down here. Use a lot of this PVA glue, I do. Fence goes into a wall. Like so. And then I've got a tiny little bit of wall just to sit here, which I don't need all of it off, to be fair. So I'm just going to quickly cut the edge off that I don't need. Just trim it down a little bit. So that it matches and fits in the right position. And then that little bit of wall can sit there. And the join is pretty neat because it's nice and straight. I'll straighten it all up in a second. This fence needs straightening up here, for example. There we are. Straighten all the walls up. Hey, that's not glued yet, so we'll just give that a quick minute. We'll push that up against there. Right, so the walls and that are in. So when I should be able to now just gently place the school back without disturbing those. Yeah, oh dear. See, the wall has fallen off here because that was where the school touched it. It lines up rather nicely with the school on the side there. Lining up pretty nicely with the school on this side as well. Obviously you're not going to see much of this at the very back of the board, but if the detail's there, that's what counts. I'm just going to modify this little fence bit because there's a bit of it sticking out which is annoying me, because it won't go flush because there's a little bit of scrap on it. There we go. Now it'll go flush. There we go. So now we've got this old fence in. So we've got fence and wall back here, which is a nice combination of textures. Let's make sure this wall is nice and flush. There we go. So if I move that like that, you can see that we've got like a little playground going on here. So we've got a paved area for the children, we've got a gate, we've got a bit of grass. We have the nice new sand pit installed, which is quite happy with. I'm quite happy with how the sand pit looks, with how it's come out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a tree, because this market stall is going to sit here. Now it still needs a little bit of paving down the side down here, which I'm going to do in a moment. I'm going to find a tree. Ta-da. I'm going to stick it here where that little bit, there's a little bit of cardboard that you can see. Oh, that tree is on top of us. Find a different tree, a better tree than that one. So let me go find a tree. I've got bags of trees. There we go, there's a nice looking tree. Yeah, that'll do. And we're going to stick it where the there's a little bit of cardboard showing through. Got a tree. And I need the really, really good super glue. So let me just have a look for the super glue. I seen it somewhere today, so finding the super glue should be easy, but you know, in this day and age things just disappear on me all the time. They're very good at that. Where is it? There it is. I see it. It's under here. Ta-da! So, this super glue, this Loctite Precision Max, if you can see that, is absolutely amazing. It's genuinely probably the best super glue I've ever used. Literally, it sets really, really stupidly quickly, and it's really stupidly strong. So I'm just going to dab some down here. Like so. Put the lid on, I don't want to make it dry up. Put the tree right next to the wall to disguise that gap. I'm going to have to hold the tree while this super glue sets though. In fact, what I could probably get away with is leaning it against the wall. And then just placing something against the wall so it doesn't fall over. So if I place that static grass there, place that like so, that should hold it in place, and that should glue nicely like that. Yeah, that's about right. That's good enough for me. That works. And actually, now that I've just noticed it, the wall over here has just slipped around the side of the actual building, so it's worked rather nicely. That was completely unintentional. It just worked, so yay, that's pretty cool. So the next thing I'm going to do is, if you can just, I'm trying to get the camera in the right position here. I don't know how well that's showing up on the camera with the lighting, but you can see there's all the white stuff where it's been ripped away, which is a bit unfortunate really, but you know, it does happen. It does happen. Things do get damaged when you're doing stuff like this. So my plan for that is to literally just get some of the lynching, pop a bit of glue down and do like a bit of a bushy area. just to literally hide what's going on here. So we can say it's a bit of a bushy area, so maybe a bit of a flowery area, I don't know. But I'll actually run out of the other stuff, so the lynching, we can just put this down. Oh, that wall just fell over. And with this stuff we can just literally say that, oh yeah, it's a bramble bush or something that's been there a long time, and you know, something like that. Bit of creativity really. Little bit of imagination. Never goes, and everything's falling over, typical. Little bit of imagination. It's a bit of a bramble bush. You do find them next to schools, you do find them next to old buildings. It happens. So there we go. Yeah, playground. Pretty nice. Got some bramble bushes. We've got a field for them to play on. We've got a tree for them to sit under. And the school has been improved and extended, which is pretty nice. Pretty good effort. So I'm going to let all this dry, put this back up on the railway, and then show you what it looks like when it's on the railway, all dry and all finished.